All right, everyone, welcome to Ontario Airsoft Operators. Today we have Kati, is it Panasiuk? Is that how you pronounce it? Go ahead and introduce yourself, because I was stuttering previous to this intro, trying to not screw that up, but...
No, it's Kati Panasiuk, and I'm sure everybody knows me as the crazy photographer in the field.
Everyone's seeing you out there, right? Everyone's trying to, put their arm up, flex their muscle a little bit, and hope the photographer sees them.
Don't forget about strategic pointing. That's a really big thing with me. So
don't shoot the photographer. You won't get a picture. I think most people, it's like 50% of the going to the milsims. Like 50% I enjoy playing. The other 50% is watching or looking at the pictures afterwards, right?
Yes, I think that's a huge thing, and I think obviously right now everybody's in lockdown, so it's a little sense of joy to give somebody a day right now.
So if you're spending all this time, you're putting the post work into it, I would have to imagine cropping your logos and stuff out. How do you feel about that? Or if they do, at least kind of tag you in the photo and give you that credit, right? How do you feel on that?
I mean, that's a great question. At the end of the day, I know there's some platforms where it's kind of can't avoid it. And, especially with like a Facebook profile picture, it is a circle, so it's going to crop the logos out for sure. But the one thing that I always just suggest, obviously, even when I'm posting the photos, is just to tag me. So the one thing that I do say is that if you're going to use the photo, at least tag my photography page if you're on Facebook. If you're on Instagram, tag the Kati Panasiuk Sports and Rec. And at least give me credit. That's, I put in the hard work. Yeah, I put in the hard work.
When they're out on the field, how can they, is there something that obviously they can come out and talk to you if they're not in the middle of a game. Is there something they can do to maybe grab your attention, get the picture, or just, pretend you're not there?
I mean, obviously, if you're in high combat situations, I obviously want to see everybody diving in as much as they can, because I especially love running in with the teams. And I think everybody's getting pretty accustomed to me being in the field now, so everybody's not too afraid to shoot over my shoulder or if I'm in the way.
But shooting you is not a way to get your attention, is what you're getting at.
Well, I'm sure a lot of the guys can attest to how many times that I've been in the middle of a grenade situation or been in the middle of a firefight. I don't have a problem with getting hit. Obviously, don't try and shoot the camera. Please don't. But as you were asking before, I always tell the guys, if you see me in the field and you want my attention, yell press. I'll come running over, no problem.
Great, that's cool to know. You are part of Cry Wolf, right? So when you go to these milsims, do you get to put on some of the gear and play with your team, and then the other half you're out there with your camera gear?
Icebreaker, I can definitely try and do that more, because that's our team-hosted milsim. But normally when I go into a game, it's going to be a toss of whether I'm shooting that day or I'm playing that day. So for Risk last year, I did play. I didn't shoot any photos that day. And I do enjoy the aspect of playing with the team, and I still do a lot of training with the team back here in Windsor, but it's a hard balance to go with, because obviously in 2016 I actually was introduced to Airsoft because Jody rented out my field.
That's cool.
And I was and then Fletcher hired me to go shoot New Dawn at the college, which I'm sure a lot of our veteran players remember playing there.
Yep.
So that was a great experience, and that just kind of ricocheted from one to the next, and everybody, then it was Adam from CDC at the time, and I've built a relationship with all these teams as I've gone, and then it got to a point about 3 years later where everybody was kind of asking me to be on their team.
We want cool pics.
Everybody's like, "Oh, you're not a part of the team? Well, let's go."
I think it's pretty cool. You take your two passions, airsoft and photography, and you're mixing them together, right? So.
Actually, it's a beautiful thing. I enjoy the sport. I enjoy the community. I enjoy everybody that's. It's a family all the way across Ontario. It doesn't matter where you're from. Everybody's very supportive and very helpful, and I've always loved walking on the field and being able to meet new players, especially, and see everybody's drive and motivation to do this. And guys put so much money into their gear, and
Yeah.
you know, that's the joy of it. It's kind of giving a little bit of different angles every single time to you know, one shot, you know, about the gear, one shot's in combat, one shot's, you know.
So yourself, you don't just do airsoft, you do like extreme sports, and I think you're a huge animal lover, right? So you do a lot of the animal life photography. There's something with raccoons there that I've noticed, right? So
Yeah, I'm kind of an all around. So I originally started shooting photography probably back in, well, I've always had a camera in my hand, but I started taking it a little bit more professionally probably about 2012. And then I increased that to go into the journalism field for a while. And
what are you for?
I got a diploma in journalism and a graduate in media convergence as well.
So cool. So if people want to reach out to you, how can they get a hold of you? And what do you have to offer?
Well, my specialty is candid shots. So, I mean, I do shoot portrait sessions as well. And I do a lot of extreme photography, but anybody can reach me at on my photography page at Kati Panasiuk, and you can also reach out to me on my personal page and just send me a message, or you can send me an email at panasiukphotos.com, and we can set something up. So it's just all depending on anybody's personal way of wanting to connect with me.
And I'm going to say, keep in mind you're more the Windsor area, so if it's a family portrait, you're not going to travel to the other side of Ontario to do a picture unless you're to pay some pretty heavy expenses, right? So
I mean, there's a base fee on things, but if anybody wants me to travel, there's a travel expense for fuel for that need.
And that can be discussed personally within that. I also noticed too on your Instagram you have different types of photography pages, right, for each one that you're doing. So that's pretty cool to know.
Well, originally I had it all on one, and I'm sure a lot of the guys that met me back in like 2016, 2017 will attest to that. I had a lot of, it was all under one page, and then as I further my ambition into airsoft, I realized that there needed to be kind of some separation there. And as I did more extreme sports, especially like I do rodeos and motocross and anything that puts myself in an adrenaline rush. I also did a short intern thing with the military as well. So I've seen the 50 cals go off, and I've seen dirt in my face from motocross and bikes flying over my head. So I'm used to being in the action, and that's where I like to be the most. I was shooting wedding photography for a while, but I was having a lot more fun with it. Well, it's, you know, everybody's like, I just pose the picture, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, no, I like it because it's more diverse. You know, you got high energy, everybody's in this adrenaline rush of trying to run around and go do their thing, and that's where the excitement comes from. I love, like, especially with Crywolf, I would say there's a few teams that are really used to being out there and shooting with me. So like when the players have run a couple milsims with me being on the field, they start to get used to the fact that like I will stand right next to them and I got BBs flying right here, and that's the most exciting shot for me, because that's when I really get those like in-depth, beautiful, photographic, just
perfect shot. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate everything. We'll post up some links to get in touch with you and go from there.
Sounds great. I'm really happy to be here, and thanks for asking me to come and talk about it.
I'm thrilled to have you. Thank you.